Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be talking about Google Slides, and we're going to be talking about background colors and images and how you can insert media, including video and audio, in your slides. And finally, we're going to talk about adding comments. Well, let's go ahead and get started. As you can see from the screen, I'm going to continue on from the last video and use the same file technology training demo. Well, I'm going to go ahead and insert a new slide by clicking on Slide, New Slide. And I'm going to go ahead and delete by highlighting the two text boxes that automatically appear from the template and press the Delete key on the keyboard. Well, to change the background color of this slide, it's very easy to do. You simply go up to your menu options and you select the background button. Then you can change the color by selecting the drop-down next to color. You can choose any one of the various different options for color. At this point in time, you can select Done, and that will, as you can see from the left-hand side here, add that background color to this slide only. If you want to add this background color to every single slide in the presentation, then you have to click the Add to Theme button. Once you're done, you can click the Done button. To add a background image, you simply click on the Background button and then select the Choose Image button. But before we do that, I'm going to show you that you can change the aspect ratio of your slides by clicking on File and going down to where it says Page Setup. Right now, my presentation is set to 16:9 widescreen. The other standard option is the 4:3 option. You can choose either presentation format, 16:9 or 4:3. I'm going to leave mine on 16:9 because that's my preferred aspect ratio for Google Slide presentations. But this will come into play in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and select Background, choose Image, and I'm going to choose, just for fun, the picture of this lock right here. I'm going to tell you right now that this slide presentation background that I have created up here is in 16:9 format, and this picture is in 4:3 format. Take a close look at the lock in this picture, because when I go ahead and insert that into my slide, you'll notice that the lock looks like it's stretched now. That's because it is. We took a 4:3 formatted image and put it onto a 16:9 slide. There's no way to change the aspect ratio of the image once you've inserted it into the slide. Now, if that's okay with you, it doesn't really matter. Great, everything's all set. But if you do want your pictures that are going to be the background images to your slides to appear correctly formatted, then you're going to have to choose the correct format based upon the image that you have available. As I indicated, I had created a background slide using Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and insert that one, and you'll notice that looks a little bit better. Background, choose Image, and I'm going to choose this one right here and select Insert. I'm going to choose Done. Well, that's how you change the color and or add an image to the background of your slides. So how do you know if you have an image that will fit perfectly on the background of your slide? Well, if you have a 4:3 formatted slide, you will need to find an image with an aspect ratio of 4:3. 4:3 is the aspect ratio that usually comes out of digital cameras. So if you take a photo with a digital camera and want to use it on a 4:3 slide, you should have no issues with the way it looks, except that it may be too saturated to show the text over the top of the image. So you may need to take the photo into a photo imaging program and change the opacity of the image so you can read the text over the top of it. An image that is sized at 1024 by 768 will fit a 4:3 aspect ratio. Here is a 4:3 image straight out of the camera, formatted to fit a 4:3 slide. It is 1024 by 768. Watch what happens when we use that same 4:3 slide, but we change the background image of the slide to a 16 by 9 format. As you can see, that 16 by 9 format gets squished into a 4 by 3 aspect ratio, making it look a little bit odd. A 16 by 9 aspect ratio is most common for presentation slides, computer monitors, widescreen TVs, etc. Common resolutions for the 16 by 9 format are 19 by 20 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. Here's the same image that I used before in the 4 by 3 format, now formatted in a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. It's actually 1920 by 1080, which is a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. And now I'm going to show you a 16 by 9 slide deck with a 4 by 3 formatted image. As you can see, it stretches that perfectly spherical globe and makes it look more like an egg. Here's the image with 100% opacity. I'm going to also show you the image at 50% opacity and at 25% opacity. As you can see, the opacity of the background makes a big difference when it comes to being able to read the text and not being distracted by the background. If you're looking for a background to your slide presentation, you can always go to Google Images, typing images.google.com in the URL field, and then you can just search for background images for Google Slides. You should end up with a lot of choices. You can also type background images 16 by 9 if you know you have a 16 by 9 slide deck, or background images 4 by 3 if you know you have a 4 by 3 slide deck. Just be sure that if you do use any images off the internet, that you keep in line with copyright laws. Just because an image is on the web does not mean that it's not subject to copyright. It's also pretty easy to insert media, such as a YouTube video or audio. For the YouTube video, you just have to have the link. If you're interested in inserting audio, especially audio that you've recorded, you're going to have to record that ahead of time. And if you want to record audio ahead of time, you'll want to probably use an application like Audacity to do that. But I'll still show you how to insert audio and video into this slide. To insert audio, select Insert and go down to Audio. You're going to have to choose where the audio is coming from. Like I said, you'll have to pre-record the audio, and then you'll have to browse to it within your Google Drive. So the audio example that I have for you is this one called Audio Example. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it and say Select. That inserts an audio clip into my slide, and I can click play. This is an example of some audio for my Google Slides demonstration. Once the audio is in the slide and you present the slide, all you'll have to do is click on it in the presentation in order to get it to play. To insert a video into your slide, you'll have to have the link from YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and open YouTube and browse to a video, and then I'm going to select the URL and press Ctrl-C on my keyboard, and then go back to my Google Slide presentation, and I'm going to click on Insert Video. Now you can have a video in Google Drive, and you can select that video from within your Google Drive, or a shared drive, or any video that might be shared with you. Or you can insert a video simply by adding the URL. Or of course, if it's a YouTube video, you can just simply paste the link here. So I'm going to press Ctrl-V on my keyboard to paste the link, and then I'm going to select the search button. Since this is the YouTube video I want, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click the Select button. That will insert the video into my slide. I can then orient the video by changing its size on the Google slide, and I can move it to wherever I want. Notice as I was moving that YouTube video that horizontal and vertical lines popped up when I was at the direct center of my slide. You don't have to play a video in its full size. You can make the video a lot smaller and play it in a corner of your slide if you'd like to. And this is how it would look.
Hello everyone and welcome. In this video,
Once you've got the YouTube video in your slide, I'd like to point out if you select on it and it's highlighted with those handles around it, you do have additional options for video playback. In other words, you can start the video at a later time than the beginning of the video on YouTube. If I wanted to start it at the 2-minute mark, for example, I would simply type 2 minutes, and that's where it would start. So you can select parts of videos as they seem appropriate for your lessons. You can also select autoplay when presenting, which means when you get to this slide in your presentation, the video will automatically begin to play. And you can choose mute audio if you don't want the audio to play. Let me give you an example. I'm going to click on the present button to present this presentation, and then I'm going to press the right arrow on my keyboard to go to the next slide. Without touching anything else,
I also want to point out that Google Drive
the presentation begins to play.
your folders.
You do have similar options when you insert your audio. So by selecting on the audio that I previously inserted, you'll notice that you can start playing on click or automatically when we get to the slide. You can change the volume when it's being presented, and you can choose to loop the audio. You can also deselect the stop on slide change to let the audio continue throughout the presentation. Adding comments to slides is quite easy. Simply select the comment button and choose comment. You can then type any comment that you want to, so other people that you've shared the slide presentation with have the ability to see those comments. If I press the comment button, that comment is saved so everyone who has access to the presentation can see it. Well, that's about all there is for this video. I hope this information has been helpful, and I hope you have a great day.